Tonight we're going to be talking about Aunt Jenny Johnston, or more specifically, the ghost of Aunt Jenny Johnston. Now I'm going to back us up a little bit to Sheldon Laurel that I talked about here recently in western North Carolina, where the Home Guard, where the tragedy that happened at Sheldon Laurel, well, that was going on all over in Appalachia. As I said before, the Civil War was not popular in Appalachia because the residents were poor and they all considered it a rich man's war. It was a slave owner's war that really didn't affect their daily lives, and they wanted no part of it. Well, in the Bankhead National Forest area of northern Alabama is where Aunt Jenny Johnston and her brood lived. And this Confederate Home Guard, the same like that staged the rage on Sheldon Laurel, maybe not the exact same detachment, but definitely the same kind of deal, where they called out the patriarch of the family here in front of his wife and sons, and they strung him up. And anyway, one of the sons tried to intervene and wound up being cut down in the process. So at the end of this ordeal, the patriarch of the family and one of Aunt Jenny's sons were lost. Now this, needless to say, did not sit well with Aunt Jenny, and she swore an old school oath on this home guard that had basically torn apart her family, and she swore vengeance on him. Well, revenge is a messy business, we'll just put it like that. And none of her sons died natural deaths. Now, she was proud of this fact and said that they went out like men with their boots on. But, throughout their lives, all of her sons went on to pass away in ways that were in line with that line of work, or with vengeance, we'll just put it like that. But Aunt Jenny turned the leader of the Home Guard into a soap dish. Now, this is stuff you can't make up, and that's where truth is stranger than fiction, because I've heard the ghost stories about Aunt Jenny my whole life, but she really did have one of the gentlemen turned into a soap dish that she used up until her spry old age of 98. Aunt Jenny lived until 98, and she made a notch on her walking stick every time one of the original members of this home guard was dealt with. And by the time she passed, there was only one notch missing. And that is why they say to this day that Aunt Jenny's ghost still pops up. Now, you can find her burial place in Bankhead National Forest, close to where they lived. Now, it's been desecrated many times. It's been set on fire. So I'm not even going to give y'all the exact location, just because they keep stealing the headstones and stuff. It's not worth it. But if you do find yourself in the area and you see a phosphorescent green glow over the cemetery, or you roll up in your car only to be run off by a spry older woman who tells you in not so polite a way to get off her property, well, you've just met Aunt Jenny, and she disappears right in front of your eyes, or disappears shortly after. And always around Halloween night is when she's supposed to be most active. Now, I love the fact that I read that there's a local librarian there that has even taken to portraying Aunt Jenny, historically accurate too, to actually preserve the history along with the ghost stories. I think that's awesome. As far as I know, they're still doing a hayride every year that is family friendly, to go visit that area. But that's been the story of Aunt Jenny Johnston and her feud, her and her family's feud with the Confederate Home Guard in northern Alabama. That's been Jay's Haunted Appalachia for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the story of Aunt Jenny. Keep sending me those stories and suggestions, guys, and keep Appalachia haunted, y'all.